Okay, guys. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss what SEO is. I'm going to try to explain it in very simple terms. Okay, so let's say you've built a business, an online business in particular, and you want to get people to see what you've built. You want to get traffic to your site. There are two major ways to do it. It's either you do what is called SEO, which means search engine optimization, or you go with paid advertising. So what this means is you pay companies like Google, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, etc., to show your ads or to show your business in front of um, a targeted audience, right? So if you're selling shoes, for example, you can just like pay them a certain amount of money daily or as a lifetime budget to just like showcase your business to build awareness. Whereas in the case of SEO, which by the way means search engine optimization, is all the tactics. I'll just define it in this way. It's like everything you do, both bad and good, in order to make sure that your business or your site is seen, is visible on the search engines, or to enhance its visibility if it's already there. So that's essentially what search engine optimization means. So why does SEO matter? Well, SEO matters because it's basically something you can build and forget. It keeps on giving, it keeps on generating the traffic. Whereas if you were to pay for marketing, if you were to pay for advertising, it just stops once you stop paying, right? So it also matters because more than 68% of people go on search engines like Google to first of all research what their problem is, or and then try to find a solution or product that solves that problem. So most people won't even click on sponsored results, that is advertising. They prefer the organic search results because it feels more natural, it feels more authentic, rather than people who have paid to get up to that ranking, right? So um how does search engines work? Okay, let's put it this way. It's very simple. When you've established, once you've built your site, you've built your store or your service-based business, and you want to, the next step is submitting it to search engines, right? The next step is making sure that it's visible online. So what you have to do is to submit it to search engines. But how does the search engines work in general? So when you've submitted your site to search engines, what they do is to number one crawl the website. Okay, so we have uh, crawl, and then they index, and then they rank. Well, they decide if they will rank or not, depending on the quality of your website, of your store, right? So, what crawling means is, they have something called bots. For example, there's something like Google bots, Ahref bots, Bing bots, Yahoo bot, blah blah blah. So they basically go out and crawl your website to discover all the pages that are present on your website, and to then categorize them in their index. Okay, so that's where the indexing comes in. So once they've crawled, they index. Indexing basically means saving the pages so that when someone searches for a particular query or a relevant query that is related to your website, that is related to your store, related to the business site you've built, it then shows up on the search engines, right? So how the rank they give you I mean, when it shows up, is dependent on the quality of your website. It is dependent on the trustworthiness. Okay, the EEAT. So that's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So that's basically what determines the rank you get when people search for you for what you sell on your website. Um yeah, that's basically how search engines work. So the major ranking factors I would say are the content relevancy, the quality of your website, the user experience signals like the core web vitals, the mobile friendliness, and then the domain authority, obviously, and this if your website is search intent aligned. So, but the number one key ranking factor I would say is backlinks. Okay, so backlinks are what builds your authority. If you don't have the backlinks, then you are basically nowhere in the eyes of Google and other search engines. And I have noticed over the years as well is that if you're building a new site or a new store and you don't have enough quality backlinks, it's going to be difficult getting indexed in the first place. So you might not even get indexed, let alone ranking. So backlinks are very, very important for both indexing and ranking. So um, and what's the next one? So the next one would be what are the pillars or types of SEO? This is the major one, right? So if you're going to do SEO, you need to figure out, how to do it. So there are I would say three major aspects of SEO that you have to focus on if you want to, you know, completely optimize your site for search engines. You have to focus on what is called um, technical SEO, and then you you have to do what is called on-page SEO. And then the last one is off-page SEO. So these are very simple terms that describe, the everything about SEO. When you want to optimize your site, these are everything you have to do. So under technical, we have mobile friendliness, we have speed, we have you have to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. You have to make sure it's very fast. Okay, you have to make sure that you have uh, a proper URL structure, and then you have to make sure that you have valid schema. Right. So for every page, you have a valid schema. Okay. So these are the ones for the technical SEO. So most of these, if you're using Shopify, can be easily done with apps. So Shopify already has a native uh, built-in structure. I mean, like the URL structure is already perfect when it comes to search engine optimization. The speed is also good if you're using native themes. That it's also mobile friendly, and you can use external apps for schema markup. So on the technical side, if you're using Shopify or something like WordPress, you're already covered. Okay, so you don't have to worry much about that. And then when it comes to on-page SEO, these are things like making sure your keywords appear in the title. So keywords in the title, and then throughout the body of your of your article or your page, right? So you also need to make sure that your keywords appear in the H1, H2, and the H3 titles. So these are like, if you don't know what they mean, they're just like heading tags. So H1 is the bigger text, the H2 is the following one, and then the H3, it just gets smaller and smaller, right? So depending on their relevancy to the topic being discussed. So you also have image alt texts. So you have to make sure you add alt text to images so that if people who are, like, who, I don't know, maybe can't decipher what the image is about, or when the image doesn't load very good, they see the text and then they know what the image is about, right? So and then you have things like internal links. So these are everything you do on your website to make sure it's search engine optimized. So you have to build internal. So like I was saying, the internal links are like the links on your own website that, you know um, how do I say it? They link to different other pages on your website that are relevant to the topic being discussed on a page. So I'll show you an example. So I am on flipper.com, for example, and these are all internal links, right? So as long as they are not external, so this is on particular on flipper.com, so they are not external links. They are on the same page and not direct. I'm not linking out to a different website. So you can see the URL here is flipper.com/careers. So as long as it begins with the same domain name and then it stays within the website, it's called an internal link, right? So these are, for example, external links because they link directly outside of this property. They link directly outside of this domain. So these are called external links. So yeah, so on page SEO, right, you have to make sure you internally link all your pages that are relevant to each other, and that's also very very crucial in what is called semantic SEO. So where you teach Google or other search engines what a particular website or is all about, just using semantic SEO. So on that one page SEO as well, we have yeah, meta description. So you have to make sure that every page has a meta description, which has all the keywords that you want to rank for, right? All the keywords relevant to that page. So you have to make sure it has a meta description. And meta keywords are not relevant these days, so you don't have to worry much about it. Um, Google is better and more intelligent now as figuring out what a page is all about. You don't need to put the keywords in there. Back in the days, it used to be you must put your keywords in the header section of every page in order to tell search engines what the page is all about. But these days, that's very redundant. Okay, so the off-page one, I would say, without mentioning any other thing, backlinks, right? Backlinks are the number one thing you have to focus on for this section, right? You have to make sure that you build external backlinks to your website to major sections of your website, right? You have to make sure that you have authoritative links. So backlinks are like, for example, if my website uh, let's say how do let me just give an example. Okay, So if my website called x.com, by the way, there's something called x.com, links directly to y.com, or let's say if x.com links directly to y.com and y.com is my website, then this is considered an external backlink. Then this counts towards your authority, right? When we talk about off-page SEO, we want as many backlinks as possible. So the goal is to have a.com link to you. You want b.com link to you. You want c.com link to you. You want d.com all linked to y, right? Because the more links you have, the more authoritative you are in the eyes of Google, and the more they can push you up the rankings, right? So that's why you have to make sure that you build more and more backlinks, right? So whether you are trustworthy or you're experienced or you're an expert in whatever you're talking about on your website, it doesn't really matter if you don't have authoritativeness, if you are not if you don't build backlinks basically. So I will make an entirely separate video on how to build backlinks and what to check when you're building backlinks, right? So, okay, let's say another thing to consider when doing off-page SEO is to make sure that you have social signals, right? So these days, social signals play a huge role in ranking, right? When people talk about you or talk about your brand, I would say brand mentions as well. So when people talk about you, talk about your brand on external sites and social sites, they indirectly boost your rankings because it means people know you, people are talking about what you sell, people are talking about your services, people are interested in buying from you. It also demonstrates trustworthiness, right? So it's one of the things you have to make sure you complete when making your site optimized for off-page SEO. And you also yeah, so these are the two major ones. For me, number one uh I say number one thing you have to do is to make sure you have backlinks, right? Because when you get the backlinks, it mostly covers every other thing, or every other thing starts to come in place. The social signals, you get more reviews and reviews as well for off page. So I would say uh, external reviews. If you sell a product and people review you on external sites, just basically brand mentions, right? So it all plays a role in boosting your off-page SEO. So these are this is basically SEO in a nutshell. There's really nothing much in it, and it can be demystified. It can be used to grow any website, whether you sell products, physical products, or whether you're a service-based business like SaaS, like like lead gen businesses. This is everything you need to know basically, and with that knowledge, you can, go out there and optimize any website, really. So, but yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. In my next tutorial, I'll be delving more into buying and selling businesses and, maybe optimizing, if you already have businesses, optimizing your business to make sure it's found on Google and so on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please make sure you subscribe in order not to miss any tutorials, any videos in the future. Thank you.